what are you using the information for, right? We're talking about this threat that Mitch McConnell is to democracy, is to Kentucky, is to our nation. Obviously, we had our chance to vote and we screwed it up. But what I do know is that in Georgia right now, there's a last chance of, in fact, shaping the Senate landscape and keeping Mitch from being the majority leader for another 6 years, or at least for another 2 years. So let's go ahead and do what we can to help there, right? So we've got a runoff election that is on January 5th. We've got Jon Ossoff running against David Perdue. We got Reverend Raphael Warnock running against Kelly Loeffler. Really, really important that that the Democrats sweep this election, right? So we all know, despite what Trump has told you, Joe Biden won Georgia. So all we need to do is do that again, which, you know, that's like a little tough sledding, right? This is really a challenge to do. But here's what I know. Here's what I know. It's that when you tell people about the policies that matter and what Mitch will do to stop those policies from happening, right? So Joe Biden campaigned on a lot of great stuff. He's got a really aggressive climate change, platform. He's, campaigned on a $15 an hour minimum wage. He's campaigned on healthcare expansion. He has campaigned on all these things that people really care about. A contract with rural America to help rural America, develop and advance. All this stuff, people like it. These are all like strong policies. The problem is, if Mitch McConnell is in power, Joe Biden's ability to get any of that stuff, the Biden-Harris, ticket, they are going to be incredibly hamstrung because Mitch McConnell is going to block everything. It's not like he just didn't like Obama, so he stopped Obama's agenda from moving forward when he could. It's because that's just his worldview is like the Republican worldview is important. And that means no $15 an hour minimum wage. That means no action on climate change. That means no expansion on healthcare. And in fact, we will probably take away your healthcare. That means no, legalization for DACA. Certainly no legalization for marijuana. So, everything that people actually think is valuable and what government could do to improve your life, Mitch McConnell will block that. No ifs, ands, or buts. So we have got to stop Mitch from being the majority leader, from having the power to block it, because, the way the rules are in the Senate, he is incredibly powerful as a majority leader. So what can we do about it? You can't move to Georgia and vote. That's a joke. No one's doing that. It's a right-wing meme. But what you can do is you can go to voteforward.org, indivisible, get yourself a list of high potential voters who don't necessarily always vote, but we think when they vote on our side. We need to make sure they know. These are folks who maybe aren't watching the TV, so they haven't seen I'm sure, way too many ads about this runoff race. So these are folks, you can write a letter to them. You can put a specific note about why you think voting is powerful. You can encourage them to be a voter. You can thank them for being a voter. And there's some really good tips on how to do it, what kind of language to use. So if we write as our normal kind of politically outraged personas to these voters who don't really care that much about politics, or else they would vote all the time, you're going to turn them off. So we've got some amazing language. Indivisible and Vote Forward have actually tested through these different types of social science experiments and found out what language works to motivate people to get to the polls. So the message you're sending them is actually super powerful and the most powerful message it possibly can be. And it's a personal letter. Like, who doesn't want to get a personal letter, right? It's not some mailer that's talking about Warnock being a socialist, right? It's not a mailer about how, Ossoff is gonna, do what horrible thing, right? Because of course that's all they've got is attack ads. They can't really, they got lies and attack ads because they don't really have an agenda that people support. But you get this out to these, you can download a list of 20, crank them out, you do another 20, get these letters out there so we can drive the turnout. Because folks, Republicans vote like it's their job. Democrats are like, maybe when was that election again? In terms of the Democratic base, they're unfortunately not always as, connected as we would like them to be. Republicans, don't worry about it. And then if you kind of Trumpize the Republican base, it's even worse, right? So, that's what we got going on right now. That's the call to action. I hope you go to that website right now, sign up, agree to the kind of conditions, which are that you're going to like follow the guidance and not just write how much you hate Mitch McConnell on the letter. But it's a really good system and a really good program, and I think we should all take advantage of it.